Every single year, millions of people decide to learn programming. They're watching the tutorials, buying the courses, learning the frameworks, and dreaming about breaking in and becoming successful developers. It's a massive, incredibly exciting goal. But here's the harsh reality that we need to confront this explainer. Most of them never make it. And it's incredibly frustrating to watch because we are talking about highly capable, driven people who just end up hitting a wall.
So we have to ask ourselves, why do so many people start, but so few actually cross the finish line? What's the actual disconnect between that initial spark of motivation and finally landing the job? You might think, oh, it's got to be raw talent, or maybe they're just not math geniuses. But honestly, that is a complete myth. The failure rate has absolutely nothing to do with a lack of intelligence.
Yeah, it's not about intelligence at all. It's actually about repeating the exact same psychological and practical mistakes just over and over again. So consider this explainer a bit of a tough love mentorship session. We're going to break down the exact traps holding you back and, more importantly, show you exactly how to pivot your mindset so you don't become just another statistic.
Okay, let's jump right into trap number 1. Section 1. The illusion of progress, or as I like to call it, tutorial addiction.
This is honestly the sneakiest, most dangerous phase for beginners, mainly because it doesn't feel like you're failing. In fact, it feels like you're crushing it. Most beginners spend months stuck in tutorial purgatory, watching video after video without ever building anything themselves. You get that warm, comfortable feeling of being productive. But let's contrast the passive comfort of just watching a tutorial with the messy reality of true learning. Real learning, it's uncomfortable. It really only starts the second the video ends and you actually have to struggle. It happens when you have to debug an error message you've never seen before, when you make dumb mistakes, and when you're forced to build projects completely independently.
There is a quote I absolutely love for this. A developer who builds 3 imperfect projects usually learns more than someone who watches 100 tutorials. Seriously, I want you to let that sink in for a second. You've got to shift your mindset away from the sheer quantity of videos you've consumed. Literally, no one cares how many hours of content you've watched. It is 100% about the quality of your struggle. Those 3 messy, buggy, totally imperfect projects, they're going to teach you more about real software engineering than a lifetime of perfectly curated tutorials.
And that brings us to a very close cousin of tutorial addiction, becoming a copy-paste coder. Sure, some folks actually build projects, but they only do it by copying code directly from a video or pulling it straight from GitHub. The massive red flag here is what happens next. You get into an interview or a real, undocumented problem pops up, and suddenly, crickets. You cannot explain a single line of your own code. Companies do not want developers whose main skill is hitting Command-C and Command-V. They desperately want thinking developers, people who can actually explain their logic and tackle real-world problems.
Right. Moving on to trap number 2. Section 2. The fear of public failure.
This one is a massive emotional roadblock. It's that paralyzing feeling that you just aren't good enough yet, which leads developers to completely avoid applying for jobs, posting their projects online, joining hackathons, or even just sharing their ideas. They just keep whispering to themselves, I'm not ready. I'm just not ready. But here is the open secret of the tech world. Literally nobody ever feels 100% ready. If you wait until you feel completely ready, you're going to be waiting forever. Genuine career growth only happens when you force yourself into those exact uncomfortable situations.
And you know what really fuels this fear? The absolute illusion of social media. You open your feed and boom, people are bragging about massive salaries, showing off these ridiculously pristine desk setups, launching AI startups, or posting those viral, I just got placed at Google announcements. It breeds massive insecurity. You immediately start comparing your everyday, messy reality to someone else's highlight reel. And of course, you start feeling entirely left behind.
Well, consider this your reality check. Every single successful developer you look up to online was once completely confused, deeply struggling, and entirely inexperienced. Social media is quite literally designed to hide that initial struggle. That person who just landed a job at Google, yeah, they spent countless nights staring blankly at a broken codebase feeling like a total imposter. You aren't behind. You are just in the middle of your own messy process. And honestly, that is exactly where you need to be right now.
Okay, let's talk about trap number 3. Section 3, the tech hopping trap, or why juggling too many technologies is a terrible idea.
This is where people get totally derailed by every shiny new toy that hits the market, completely wrecking their chances of actually mastering anything. It goes like this. Month 1, you're fired up about front-end development. Month 2, Web3 is trending, so you ditch it for blockchain. Month 3, ChatGPT is everywhere, so you drop everything for AI. Month 4, you panic about job security and pivot to cybersecurity or maybe mobile apps. Look, constantly switching your tech stack every single month is just ridiculous. All it does is guarantee you stay a perpetual beginner at absolutely everything and an expert in nothing.
So here's the bottom line on this one. The tech industry rewards depth way more than it rewards randomness. Think about it from a hiring perspective. A company isn't looking for someone who's read the first chapter of 10 different books. They need someone who actually finished the whole book on one specific skill. It is infinitely better for your career to get incredibly strong in one core area first before you even think about branching out.
Which flows perfectly into our next topic. Section 4, the power of consistency and just showing up. We've really got to dismantle this myth that success requires endless motivation, crazy innate talent, or spending thousands of dollars on boot camps. Let's compare two types of people here. First, you've got the burnout coder. This person runs purely on motivation. They study intensely for 1 week, pull crazy all-nighters, get totally overwhelmed, and then basically vanish for a month. On the flip side, you have the consistent coder. They just show up every single day for a whole year. They put in a steady, manageable effort. And guess what? That steady, daily effort will win every single time. Programming is a marathon, guys, not a sprint.
And that consistency, that's what actually builds the traits companies want to hire for. So many students fall into the trap of endlessly collecting course certificates like they're trading cards to slap on a resume. But let's be real. A certificate just proves you managed to sit through a video. Look at what companies actually care about. Projects, problem solving, communication, real-world thinking. Showing them a working project proves you can actually think on your feet and execute an idea.
Let's actually break down why that is. What does a strong, independent project actually teach you? Well, it forces you to learn software architecture. It turns you into an absolute master at debugging. You actually have to figure out deployment and hosting in the real world. You start thinking about scalability, and if you're teaming up with others, you learn how to collaborate without breaking everything. Building real-world projects is literally the only forge that creates real developers. Everything else is just theory.
All right, we've navigated the traps. Now let's look at the solution. In Section 5, the formula for success.
This is the ultimate no-nonsense blueprint for actually breaking into the tech industry. It's incredibly simple, but man, is it hard. Step 1, learn consistently day in and day out. Step 2, build projects, real ones, completely without hand-holding. Step 3, stay patient, because trust me, this takes time. Step 4, improve your communication, because despite the stereotypes, coding is a team sport. And Step 5, keep applying, keep failing, and keep learning from those failures. That's the whole shebang. The main reason people fail isn't a lack of brain power. It's simply that they throw in the towel at Step 3 or Step 5 when things get tough.
I really want to leave you with this one empowering thought. If you're out there struggling with programming right now, that is completely normal. Literally every single great developer has been exactly where you are right now. The secret is just to keep improving, even if it feels agonizingly slow. Because small progress, repeated every single day, eventually explodes into massive growth. The developers who actually make it, they're simply the ones who stubbornly refuse to stop.
So, I'm throwing it back to you for some reflection. After going through all of this, what do you think is the absolute biggest reason developers fail? Is it the tutorial trap? The fear of putting yourself out there? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Take a hard look at your own daily habits. And hey, don't forget to subscribe for more explainers diving deep into software engineering, AI, and leveling up your tech career. Keep coding, and I'll see you next time.